Just when it seems like Coronation Street is finally ready to give its characters a moment of peace, everything is already moving towards something much darker. Carla and Lisa are about to reach one of the happiest milestones of their lives as they prepare to say, "I do." But even before the celebrations properly begin, the atmosphere around Weatherfield is already thick with tension. And with a murder looming over the street, it is becoming increasingly clear that this wedding week may end up being remembered for far more than romance. One of the biggest pressure points comes from Carl, whose behavior grows more provocative and more dangerous. After seeing Theo clash with Gary and fail to get the explosive reaction he was probably hoping for, Carl appears to decide that if trouble is going to happen, he may as well engineer it himself. He follows Theo into the Rovers, where Theo is already humiliated by being refused service and reminded that he is barred, and instead of backing off, Carl keeps pushing him once they are back outside. What makes the whole thing so unsettling is that Carl does not seem angry in an uncontrolled way. He seems calculated. He wants Theo to lose control, and that makes him far more dangerous than someone simply acting on impulse. Theo, meanwhile, looks like a man already hanging by a thread. So the more Carl needles him, the more it feels like a serious explosion is only a matter of time. Theo's state of mind becomes even more troubling elsewhere. His confrontation with Summer crosses a line when he gets in her face and brings up the way Billy once begged him for help, leaving her badly shaken. Summer later repeats everything to George, and George's reaction is immediate and fierce, which shows just how threatening Theo's behavior now appears to those around him. At the same time, Theo is seen dragging himself out of his van in a condition so alarming that Miles is horrified, suggesting that whatever is going on with him has gone beyond ordinary emotional turmoil. He seems physically and psychologically depleted, like someone whose life is slipping out of his grasp. Yet even in that vulnerable state, he is still clinging to the past, pleading with Miles to speak to his mom and help rebuild the family. That desperation says a lot about where Theo is emotionally. He does not seem able to accept what he has lost, and that inability to let go may be what pushes him into even more destructive behavior. Todd, on the other hand, is clearly trying to survive by putting distance between himself and the whole mess. His plan to visit Eileen and Jason in Thailand feels like much more than a holiday. It feels like an attempt to breathe again, to remove himself from an emotional situation that has become toxic and frightening. But any sense of relief is immediately undercut when Theo is later seen watching Todd through the window. That image alone changes the mood completely. It suggests obsession, fixation, and a refusal to accept boundaries. Todd may want a clean break, but Coronation Street rarely allows anyone to walk away that easily. And Theo's continued presence makes it hard to imagine this ending quietly. Elsewhere, Debbie is finally pushed into drawing a hard line with Carl. The revelation that he has been blackmailing her in a bid to force her into signing over the hotel shows just how ruthless he has become. Ronnie recognizes exactly what Carl is doing and urges Debbie not to give in, but Carl continues swaggering around as if the hotel already belongs to him, even going so far as to sack Ryan behind the bar. That arrogance says everything about how confident he feels in his power over Debbie. But this time, Debbie refuses to fold. When she calls Carl to meet her and offers him money on the condition that he disappears from her life for good, it becomes a major turning point. She is no longer negotiating from fear. She is setting terms. Even so, someone like Carl rarely accepts defeat gracefully. So while Debbie may be trying to end the situation cleanly, there is still a strong sense that he could remain a threat. Another storyline heading toward chaos involves Megan, Will, and Eva. Megan gets a major boost when Kit arrives with the news that the CPS has dropped the case due to lack of evidence, and on the surface, that should mean freedom. She even books a trip to Paris for herself and Will, suggesting that she sees escape as the answer. Will is delighted and appears genuinely excited by the idea of getting away, but there is a naivety in that optimism, because Eva is not remotely prepared to let the matter rest. Encouraged by Maggie, she becomes determined to expose Megan before Ben does something reckless. And once she finds a burner phone in Will's room, she starts actively laying a trap. With Leanne's support, she messages the number, arranges a meeting, and then confronts Megan alongside Leanne and Toya. The fact that the confrontation turns physical shows how raw and volatile the emotions have become. Eva has moved beyond suspicion into obsession, and slipping a tracking device into Megan's bag proves that she is now willing to cross moral lines herself in pursuit of answers. When Megan then reveals that she has slept with Will, the emotional impact lands even harder. At that point, this is no longer just about uncovering the truth. It becomes deeply personal, humiliating, and painful, and that kind of betrayal usually sets off even bigger fallout. The arrival of Will's mother, Melanie, only adds more pressure. When Maggie finds her at the bistro, the conversation quickly becomes heated, with Melanie accusing Maggie of failing to protect Will and allowing him to be groomed. It is a harsh accusation, but it also reveals the level of fear and anger now surrounding the situation. Melanie does not see this as messy young love or a misunderstanding. She sees it as something much more serious and damaging. The fact that Ollie was the one who contacted her also suggests that concern about Will has spread well beyond one or two people. At this stage, everyone seems to feel that something has gone badly wrong. Jodie's storyline also takes a darker turn when a simple flyer for a haulage company clearly triggers her. Her reaction suggests that the name means something significant, and the tension only increases once Olivia is brought into the picture. Jodie introduces Olivia to Shona as her former nanny, which briefly creates a false sense of normality, but that quickly collapses when Jodie catches Olivia searching through her bag. Olivia admits she knows Jodie stole her dad's hard drive and was trying to take it back, which instantly puts Jodie under pressure. Her response is revealing. Rather than confess, she improvises a cover story, telling Shona that Olivia's father is her abusive ex and claiming she stole the hard drive while escaping him. It is a quick and effective lie, and that in itself says a lot. Jodie thinks fast because she has had to. Whether she is protecting herself, hiding guilt, or both, she clearly knows how to manipulate a situation when cornered. Shona, alarmed by the story and by the fact Olivia now knows where Jodie lives, urges her to leave immediately. That warning makes it feel as though Jodie's fear may not be paranoia after all. Something serious is closing in around her. Against all this tension, Carla and Lisa's wedding preparations offer one of the few emotional bright spots, but even that joy is shadowed by sadness and disruption. Learning that Connie will be returning to her grandmother brings a painful emotional note to the week, and while they pack up her belongings with Betsy, the reality of change begins to sink in. Lisa practicing her vows while Carla admits she has not written hers yet is a small but telling detail. Lisa seems focused, organized, and emotionally ready, while Carla appears a little less prepared, perhaps not because she is uncertain about Lisa, but because the weight of everything happening around them is making it hard to fully settle into the moment. Even the Hendos reflect their different energies, with Carla stepping into the Rovers to find everyone dressed as her in a playful display, while Lisa chooses something much quieter and heads out alone for a meal. Then comes the apparent disaster. Debbie reveals that the hotel function room has flooded, seemingly destroying all their wedding plans. On paper, it is exactly the kind of last-minute catastrophe soap weddings thrive on. Yet what follows actually says something very tender about Lisa. Rather than giving in to disappointment, she quietly arranges an alternative ceremony and lures Carla to the hotel under the pretense of a free lunch, only to reveal the surprise setup. With help from Ryan, Roy, and Betsy, the wedding goes ahead, and the image of Carla and Lisa exchanging vows and rings becomes one of those rare Coronation Street moments where happiness feels genuinely earned. Later, when Carla is called to the factory because of an alarm and discovers it has been transformed into their reception, the sense of love and community around them becomes even stronger. But this is Coronation Street, and joy rarely arrives without a cost. The repeated warning that a murder is about to rock the street hangs over the entire week like a storm cloud. That looming darkness changes how every celebration is viewed. Instead of feeling secure, the happiness around Carla and Lisa almost feels fragile, as though it exists on borrowed time. That is what makes the week so gripping. The wedding may go ahead, The vows may be exchanged, and for a brief moment, love may win, but the sense of dread never fully leaves. And when a soap starts building that contrast between warmth and horror, it usually means the fallout is going to be huge. There is every chance that some of these storylines are about to collide in ways that nobody sees coming. Theo feels unstable, Carl is manipulative, Debbie has made an enemy, Eva is spiraling, Jodie is hiding something, and a murder is waiting in the wings. All of it creates the kind of atmosphere where one wrong move could change everything. Weatherfield is heading into one of those weeks where emotions are high, secrets are fragile, and even the happiest occasion can become the backdrop to disaster. Don't forget to subscribe because there is love, chaos, and plenty of drama ahead in Coronation Street.